Well, I think my story, a big part of my story is that I'm half Danish, half Zimbabwean, so both places very much feel like home, and I grew up in both. I went to university in Denmark, where I got very involved in a student organization called ISEC, and where I was challenging the traditional notions of North-South and what it meant to be a poor developing country because of my experience in Zimbabwe being very different. I eventually became president of ISEC International, which I think gave me an experience of, regardless of your age, you set your mind to something and it becomes possible. Kind of follow your dream, almost. And so as I left ISEC with a group of friends, we set up an organization called Pioneers of Change, which was about supporting young people to actually keep those dreams alive as they went into the so-called real world. As we were finding people kind of going into business or formal organizations and saying that what they thought was possible in their student years actually wasn't. So we wanted to keep that alive. And so I was part of Pioneers for several years, and then my own dream was about coming back to Zimbabwe and supporting people in both connecting with their own wealth and wisdom and beginning to share that more broadly. And so that became Kafunda Village. And I think it was very much this response from my Danish background and side of looking down on Africa and my African side just saying there's so much here and you have no idea.
Yeah.
And so Kafunda Village is a learning center, a learning village. There's about 20 people who live and work here, but we work with communities across Zimbabwe. And we're really about people connecting with who they are, what they have, and how to make the most of that. And so it's a lot of skills for self-reliance, community building, finding out how can we contribute to improving our life and our communities with the resources that we have available and with each other.
Perfect.
At one level, I don't really know. I think what I do is, what I'm really good at is following my heart, and so it doesn't always, it always makes sense to me, and so that's been the story of my life. Kind of first this call of going back to study in Denmark, and then coming back to Zimbabwe, and I think there's something for me around helping people connect with their own inspiration and power. I think that's at the heart of what I do, and so the joy that I experience when that becomes possible, and also that I love working with people and in community, and so a lot of the way I work and what I do is with others. So what seems to be next for Kafunda is there's like a few people that are beginning to talk about moving out. One of our Kafundis is from Malawi, and he wants to go back and set up something like Kafunda in Malawi. And others from other parts of Zimbabwe are really wanting to bring this back to their place, not as kind of a program that we take up, but actually setting up something like Kafunda there. And so that seems to me to be what's next, is kind of sinking roots more firmly in other parts of Zimbabwe and maybe even in the region. For me, I thought that I'd kind of started Kafunda and it was able to do its own thing and I could go do my own thing, which I have, but it seems like something is calling me back, and it's almost like, what's the next level of Kafundaing that I could get involved in that's not necessarily so much about the rural life, but about what we're learning here that could benefit other parts of the world, our cities we spoke of. So I don't know, but there's something there around building a bridge with what I've learned here, and using Kafunda as a platform. So to be continued. I mean, a couple of things. My first inclination was to say, come and visit us, and I know that's not possible for everyone, but we love having people come and spend time with us. And sometimes we have programs people can join, sometimes it's just coming as a volunteer for a few weeks or a few months. We're just getting onto Facebook. So if you can't visit us in person, then maybe come visit us on the internet and see what we're up to. And if you have, if you're able to make a contribution, then I'd say the work that we're doing with children is work that will probably continue to need to be funded. And so supporting our work with children and orphans is something that would always be helpful. But my first would be to say, come and visit us.